Greetings everyone. Welcome again to the MVP show for the business application conducted by CSharpCorner community. So as you know that we run two tracks. In one track we talk about the first party app from the Microsoft, and in another track we talk about the Power Platform. So today we are going to talk about the business applications, first party apps, and we are almost about to end our sales app. So today we are going to talk about that sales app, kind of a last segment on that. So here is the high level agenda that we are going to talk. So we'll start with the basic revision. So what we have discussed so far and what we are basically the complete life cycle that we are discussing in our last sessions. And we will discuss about that invoice management, what is all about the invoice and what are the things that we can do in our Dynamics 365. And then we will see how we can create invoice, and how we can log the pricing, how we can close the invoice, and if we want to share that invoice with the customer, how we can send that. So all these things we are going to talk today. So let's have a quick introduction before jumping onto the main topic. So myself, Mahender, and I'm principal consultant at Himbab. So I've been working with Microsoft Dynamics CRM. It's like more than 16 years now. So I will be taking theoretical part where I will be explaining all these PPTs, and I have with me my friend Venkata. He's also Microsoft MVP, and he's also more than 13 years of experience in Microsoft technology, and we both are CSharpCorner community MVP as well. So he will be taking care of the demo part. Okay. So yeah, so let's start. So as I said that first thing I want to discuss about that revision here. So in all the sales app where we started discussing from the lead management, and we saw that how we can capture the lead, what are the different ways of creating lead into the system, and how what are the different criteria that we use. Based on that we qualified the lead, and once they are qualified we move that lead into the opportunity. Okay. And in the opportunity we record some more information, and we do some more interaction with our customer, and we just make sure that we are including all the product or services whatever they need. So based on that, then we move to the next step on the we create a code, which is basically a formal document for the pricing information that we share with our customer, and they can see that okay, these are the pricing that they are going to we will be charging from them for their product or the services. Okay. So once the quote is accepted by the customer, we move to the next step, creating the order, where we provide all the details that where we are going to ship these orders and all the services where it will be fulfilled. Once the order is done, once the order is fulfilled, the last step is for the invoicing. So that's what we are going to cover today. Okay. So this is the basically high level life cycle of the sales process, that starting from lead and ending on the invoice. Okay. So and this is a traditional sales life cycle, but as you know that Dynamics 365 is highly customizable application. So based on the requirement, if there is any requirement to in between add custom process or add any custom entity here, we can modify this based on our requirement. Okay. So it's basically highly customizable. We can easily customize it based on our requirement. So now, so today topic is the invoice management. Now we know that okay, so we discussed the pricing with the customer, we fulfilled their order, we provided all the product and services they require, so that is done. Now it's time to charge for the services and product. So invoice is basically kind of a request where we say that okay, we have fulfilled your requirements, now it's time to pay us, right? So we prepare a document where we provide okay, these are the services and the product whatever you are working with. So we include all this information on the document, and we provide that okay, this is the pricing that we are going to charge with you, and that's not new to the customer. because we have already shared the quote with them, so they already know that, okay, so what we are going to charge. So this is not something new to them. So we create invoice, and the invoicing, basically all that information that is coming from the order is present. Okay, so whatever we have filled, so starting from the lead, actually whatever information we feed into the system, that all are take over to the next level. And similarly here in the invoice as well, all the information is present about the customer information, their contact details, their address information, and all this product and the pricing information. But still, if at last stage, if they want to do some changes and they want to modify their product or service, maybe they want to you know uh, order for new product, or maybe they want to add new product, or they want to remove some product, they can still do that. Okay, so it provides us this flexibility that if you want to modify the product line item, you can do that. So these things are there. And we have that option here, which basically we call it calculation of the pricing. If you do any kind of changes on the line item, we can use that option to recalculate that, and all the pricing information that is here is basically recalculated based on the price of the products or the services. So that kind of thing we do in the invoice management. And then finally we close that when we got that amount from the customer, we close it. So depending on that, we have different options to closing it. Okay, so we will see it on the next slide. Now we know that what we can do in the invoicing management. So the first thing is that creation of the invoice. Okay, so similar to the other object, in this object as well, in this table as well, we have two options in a high level. That one, we can create it from the order. So this is the order form. In the order form, you will see that there is a option here to create that invoice. When you will click on that, it will pop up a new window, and that will basically create a invoice record for you. Okay, so as I said, all this information will be transferred to here in this invoicing as well, so you don't need to feed them again. You can see all the line items, whatever it was there in the order, that will present here. Whatever customer was there, all the things that will be following here on the invoicing. Okay, so that's the one option to create that invoice. But if you don't want to create it from the order, or you are following some different sales process where you are not using order, or maybe you have some different scenario, so there is a direct option as well here. You can go to the navigation and you can select that invoice, and there is a new button. When you click on that, you will get this invoice form. As you can see here, sorry, when you will create invoice from here, you can see that all these forms are basically blank, right? Which means that when we are creating invoice directly, we need to feed all this information. Okay, so we need to feed all this information manually here. We need to provide that, okay, who is the customer, for to whom we are creating this invoice, what are the line item that we are going to include. So everything that you need to feed here, because you are just starting with the invoice. Okay, but here, because this information already part of the order, already part of the quote, and coming from all these objects, so that will be there, so you don't need to fill all this information. So this is how we create that invoice. Now, as I said, that once we create that invoice, we will get all the line item from the orders. So we can see all the line item, which is a product or the services, depending on that. That will be there, and the pricing information will be there. And now let's say customer is final, and they are not doing any kind of changes on that. And now we are going to make this invoice is the final one, and then we are going to share it with the customer so that we can get the amount. Okay, so there is an option for locking the pricing. This pricing option is basically, you can see here that if you will click on this, so you can see that there is a field on the form. This price will be locked. When you will click on this, it will be ticked like this. Okay, so it means that the pricing on this invoicing is going to lock. So if there is any changes happening in the price list item, it's not going to impact this invoice. Okay, so that's what we have the lock in the pricing. And when you use, once you will click on that, it will change this option to the use current pricing, which means that if something had changed, let's say maybe you are on the process of the customer, and you created that order and you created that invoice, and still there are some, maybe there are some kind of special rates are going on, and you have provided some discount, but you said that okay, we will be giving this discount only for these couple of days or maybe 1 week or whatever, and this time is over. So maybe you want to use the current pricing on the all this invoicing part, so you can click on that, and it will reflect that, it will take that updated price that will be from the price list, and based on that it will show the latest price on the invoice. Okay, so these are the things that we have on the pricing part when we want to look or want to use the latest pricing from the price list item. Okay, so when we look that, you see that we have some options that as I said, that pricing won't be updated from the price list. There is another thing here, write-in product cannot be added. So in a high level, basically we have two type of products. One is the write-in product, which basically not part of the our inventory yet. Okay, so we are just basically maybe we are going to get this product or service after some time, but it's in the development process. Okay, but definitely it's going to come. So that's what we call the write-in product. The existing product is which basically part of our inventory, and we can select that and put this on the invoicing. Okay, sorry. So in the write-in product, we just provide the name of that and pricing, that what's going to be that, or if we want to do any kind of adjustment on the pricing, we do that write-in products. Okay, so that cannot be added once we have the low price applied. Okay, so that's what we have the price locking option. Now, so we have that we created that invoice, we can edit that, we have done any modification if required, and then we know that like we can lock the pricing. Now how to close that invoice? So there is a button available here, invoice paid. That's basically option to close that invoice when you got that amount from the customer. Okay, so when we will click on that, we will get this pop up, and there we have two options. One, that let's say whatever amount it was, and customer totally paid all this amount, so then we will complete this invoice as a complete option. So means that all the payments are done. But if they have not done the full payment, but they have done the partial payment, then we will select this option, which means that full payment is not done and there are still pending amount. So that will be so it help us to know that okay, these are the invoice that is fully paid and these are the invoice which is partially paid. Okay, so these are the system that we use for the closing that invoice. Okay, then another thing that I want to touch base here is the sending invoice. Okay, so let's take an example. Just like we shared our quote with the customer where we had all the pricing information, and we want to also share this invoice with the customer that okay, this is the final invoice that we are going to charge from you, and you need to pay that. So we have two options here. One thing is basically if you want to go for manually. So you see here we have an option for run report. When you will click on that, we will see that invoice option is there. And when we'll click on that, it will generate one invoice report. So there is a out of the box report created for invoice, where it will create details, add the details of the header and all the line items and the pricing information, everything will be there. So that's out of the box. Okay, so if required, you can do the modification and you can do the change the look and feel of that. You can add your own company logo onto that. Also, all these things can be done in the this report. Okay, so once it is downloaded on the PDF, you can attach to that email and you can share it with the customers. That's the one thing. The another option is directly sending it from the Dynamics 365 only from the sales app. So here you can see that we have an option send by email. When you will click on this option, it will pop up that email record. So you can see here on the right hand side, it will open the email record, and here it will attach that document as a Word document, and then you can simply send this email, and your customer will get this email, and it will have this attachment in that. So that's the out of the box option we have here, send by email. Okay, so these are the two options that we can utilize, and there are other third party add-ons also available which we can use, and they have provide some different functionality. So it depends on the requirement, what is your requirement. Based on that, we can easily customize them, and we can change them according to our requirement. Okay, so that's what I wanted to cover in today. So now we will jump into the demo part. So I will shift mic to my friend Venkata for the demo. Venkat, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Mahender. So let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Just confirm whether you can see my screen. Okay.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay. So hi everyone. Welcome to this session again. So let me give you a walkthrough about the how you can deal with the respective uh, the invoices, everything and all. Okay, so just as we mentioned, the pre-sales life cycle has start from the lead, opportunity, and then quote, order, and the last one is the invoice. So how you can start creating an invoice. So based if you haven't seen the previous sessions, just have a look at those sessions so that you will get more understanding about the clear sales life cycle. And for the people who are watching this one as a continuous part of our series, so you should be in a position to correlate what are the things that we discussed in the last session. Okay, so in the last session we have created an order from the code, and now what we are going to do, right, from the order, how we are going to create an invoice. So if you observe here, there are multiple ways of creating an invoice. Okay, so just if you observe right in this area, you can see in the pipeline or opportunities that are present. Okay, so what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to navigate here through an opportunity. So now an opportunity was there, and here I'm going to a quote, and just I'm opening the quote. And if you observe, now as I have moved to the quote, and then what I'm going to do here, so the order I'm going to create just for this one is a quickly. So just I am not going to change anything and all. So just I'm going to click on this. Okay, just order was there, this is the order. Okay, now what are the things that you are going to see here? The first option is now we are going to create an invoice for it. So now how you can do it is just you can click on this create invoice. Once you click on this particular invoice, right, at the back end what you will be having it, the details that are being present in the order, those all details will carry forward to here, so that the large amount of manual work of typing all the details that will be totally removed. Okay, and if you observe few of the fields that are present here, so if you observe here the invoice ID that is present here, so the invoice ID, it is an automatically generated. If you want, you can change that one. And the remaining all the other things, right? These are all the editable fields. So just the currency that I have used for my order, and the respective line items. And this is the price list that I'm having. The prices are locked, as you mentioned. So what is the main advantage of these prices locked, right? So in case all the product, so order you have booked it, and well, whenever they are generating the invoices, right, for that particular order, for that invoice, there could be some of the products that are present. For that particular product, there is a pricing list, and those prices keeps on changing. Okay, so in order to get a best deals directly, right? So what we used to give as an to the customer, okay, just we are locking for this particular price, and we will make sure that if you provide okay, if you provide the amount that is that you are ordered for it in the form of invoice, then we can give this particular product or a set of services to this particular price. If not, then this will be this particular invoice is not valid. Like that, you can provide these business domain functionality that is present where on this particular price is locked. Okay, because that's what in short you can give it. And if you observe the price list and the price lock, this is an read only field. Okay, and there are remaining fields that are present, that is the shipping dates, like date delivered, just you can go for it, and the due date. Okay, so just the date delivered you can keep it, and the due date is also fifth. Shipping method, if you wanted to go, just okay, just I will keep it as an some kind of DHL. And the payment terms, next 60. Okay, just you can fill in all the address details that are present, obviously. And then, so if you observe, right, this is the product which I have given. And if you wanted to know about the information, you can go and see it. And if you wanted to glance at the detailed amount, you can also see it here, like okay, this is the amount, and this is the discount, and this is the private fee amount, and the total tax is 00. So 4999 was the amount. And if you observe here, the total amount is also 4499, and it is active and new status is, and this is I am the owner. If you wanted to provide a description, okay, new invoice was created based on the order from customer. So just I wrote one particular description on the order date. Okay, so now this is done. There are few of the options for it here. So now the invoice has been created. Just I am going to save. Once this particular invoice has been saved, right, what you can do, right, so here, in case okay, I wanted to show something to some of the things to here. So you can perform the recalculate operation. And because if you wanted to change some of the give, if you wanted to give some discounts to here, then you can recalculate. You can do it this one, and just you can save this one. And if you observe, right, the total amount also change. That means you can do this particular recalculation at the order level as well as invoice level as well, because the rapport that you have with the customer, you can also do it, because we are not restricting the salesperson or the team not to do any kind of adjustments here. Okay, so now uh, once this particular invoice has been sent, right, the paid invoice, select the information of the payment for invoice, status reason as complete or partial. If you observe here, the shipping method is payment terms, and it is net 60 only, because there are few of the things that are also being present, right, in case of any particular loss of the goods and all that, things come into picture, the shipping method and the payment terms. And now invoice paid, I'm going to mark this as incomplete and the partial. So that means there are few invoices that can be present in the a field, like okay, 100% full payment and 50% 50% payment, and after delivery of the goods, then giving the total amount. So in those cases, we'll be giving it. Just I'm giving the paid invoice as 100%. That is, I have paid the everything. So if you observe, right, just observe the read only record status as paid. Now what you can do here, as mentioned, there is an option here to cancel the invoice. Okay, so by mistake some calculations are done or some error entry has been done, then you can cancel this particular invoice. And also, right, if you wanted to perform any kind of reports, that means at the back end, if you wanted to see any invoice kind of things, right, then you can generate this particular report on that invoice as well. So that's how you can do it. So just give me 1 minute here. Let us go with all the active all invoices. So these are the way that are present. So as mentioned earlier in the first starting of this session, like there are multiple ways of creating a invoice. This is the screen where you can directly create an invoice by starting all the details, by keying in all the details, everything and all. Okay, so this, that means you can create an invoice, because at a time, okay, so you took an order and you have created an quote, and after many days that particular person who took the quote, that he is not available. So in that particular case, right, in order to quickly create it, right, you can do it by using the new wizard that is present in creating an invoice, or else you can directly select that particular invoice that has been present for the related quote. That means, see, invoices we can have one or two, because if for an quote, if it has partially created an invoice, right, then we can create the another one as well, because the status reason, if it shows as an partial, then we can do it. So now what we are going to do here, right, email a link. So if you click on this particular one, email a link, then if you observe here, okay, so for this particular name of this one, what we are going to do, right, just we are going to provide this particular record ID. That is that, just we are providing an email link for a quick reference to the customer. So you can do it here just by opening this record, and the customer will show he can see it. Or if at all you wanted this record link to be, say, shared to your supervisor for a quick verification, then you can also do these things as well. Okay, now let us go with the price lists that are present, and another one is the related things that are present here. So the activities, how you can do it here, you can provide anything. Okay, uh, invoice has been created and sent to user, can keep it as invoice note, and then just click on the add note, you can do it. And if you want, you can give these particular details as well as, and you can keep it as and show email as in conversation. So these are all the normal timeline content that you will be getting here. And as well as, so as mentioned earlier, right, so you can cancel this particular invoice, and also you can assign this particular invoice to other person, because the respective person might not be available in that particular case, right. You can always go for this particular assign. And also, if suppose for your invoice, there should be if there are some kind of background process that needs to be triggered. Okay, so nowadays we are going with directly, we can have an interaction with the out of box flows or an Power Automate flows and all. So just you can click on this. If you click on this particular create flow, if it will go and see it. Just if you observe, right, it will go and to the Power make dot Power Automate, like that. That means into the Microsoft Power Automate Studio that you will be going it. So this is how you can do it. And let us open here. So let us go back to here, an opportunity, and then just an topic. Just I am opening here. And a quick recap of this one, an opportunity is also present. And for this one, I'm going to the quotes, and for the given quote, right now what you are going to do here, just you can go to the related orders, and for this related order, you can click on this one, and then again you can do it, check access, create invoice, you can fulfill the order, and as well as the create the order as well. So obviously now you are in the order. Now let us go to the invoices, and then now add existing invoice, you can do it. This is in the form of the subgrid, and also you can also export the invoices that are present. See, just if an order have the multiple invoices, there are always number of cases that are present. For a given order or the code, there are multiple price list or the product list might be present. So during that cases, right, this invoice count will also be more. You can ask me a question. So Venkat, how, what kind of scenario that you are trying to explain? So if at all my price list will have the products of the number of products, out of which few products are only available and few products are coming soon. Maybe they could be delayed, or due to a number of reasons for a given order, there could be the multiple invoices. So if there are multiple invoices that are present, then you can also export this particular invoice into an worksheet, and also the Excel templates that you can perform it. Okay. So now if I open this particular invoice, then what all the things that I can give in here. So just the share, that is email link that is present, and also other one is the copy link and the manage access. So now let me refresh this one. So this record status was paid. Now what I'm going to do, right, just I'm canceling this particular invoice. It was asking the reason, status reason as cancelled. Okay. So now if you observe, right, the invoice which has been generated previously, the record status was showed as read only. Uh, Now whenever I cancel this particular invoice, the record status changed to the cancelled. Okay. So if you observe the status reason as well, the status changed to cancelled, and the status reason also changed to the cancelled. So these are the different ways that you can create any particular invoice, and then you can play around on this particular invoice with all the details here. If you wanted to open the record set, that means invoices associated with. That means there are different ways, like for the given order, if you wanted to quickly see the different invoices that are present, then you can do it as well. And here, if you wanted to go for the information, like if you wanted to see for a given invoice, we do have the different forms that are present. Invoice, which is the summary part of it, you can see it, and the another one is the information, which will show the related details of it as well. So the shipping, if you wanted to see the address, the administration, and the notes, if you wanted to see any kind of notes that has been added, that all these things that you can see it here. And also, if at all you wanted to see the record in the new, and if you wanted to delete this one, if you wanted to check access, all these related details that comes into the picture here. So in this particular way, you can either go back to the invoice, and also you can also go to this related ones activities that are present, and the audit values as well. So in case if you wanted to backtrack from an invoice, then you can go back to the order. So just click on this particular order, and now with this particular order, if you wanted to backtrack to the quote, let us go to the quote. And if you wanted to backtrack from quote to the opportunity, just you can click on this particular opportunity. So like this, any you can backtrack from the invoice to the quote, and also the opportunity, and also to the lead. So here I got it to this particular contact, and obviously I can obviously go to this particular lead as well, lead, and this particular opportunity that is also present. So in this way one can easily uh, navigate from the starting to the end, from end to the starting, because at any point of time, right, if any sales manager or the respective supervisor wanted to see, okay, what is this particular invoice has been generated for, does it have the respective qualified code that is present, that it has a good correct order that has been created, and this order has been generated for that particular opportunity. Because by getting to know about all this information, periodically we can have a good rapport with the customer, saying that okay, you took this particular order on this particular day, you have joined it, and I hope with this particular time, these particular products that you took, it has been expired or might be completed, just we wanted to check whether you wanted to refill, like that. So we can send a kind of uh, reminders for the customers. So with this, right, the entire the sales process, by showing it in the form of a demo with respect to the invoice, was gets completed. So Mahinder, if you wanted to add something, you can add it here. Yeah, just before start
Yeah.
closing that, right? So just there was an documentation that was also present here. So we have a beautiful documentation that are present for the managing the invoices here, and like here, create an invoice from an order, create an invoice, and whatever that we said, edit an invoice if you wanted to do it, lock or unlock the prices of an invoice, how you can close an invoice, and how you can email an invoice. So these are all the steps that has been beautifully written in the our Dynamics 365 sales documentation that are present. So if you wanted to learn more about and to get the more the details, then our documentation was there. Feel free to refer that one. Yeah, Mahendra, over to you.
So there is just one thing that I want to mention here, like you know,
I
there
think
are
you are on.
some.
We cannot hear you.
You cannot hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so just want to add one option, like sometime you may see some different option while working with the sales, because in a high level we have two options, like one we have that enterprise edition of the sales app, and one is the professional edition. So you may see some kind of options, and on one you will see different option, and one you will see different option. So that differs based on the version of the app that you are using. Okay, so that's the one thing that I just wanted to add here. And yeah, so that's what we have covered our sales complete sales life cycle. And maybe we will be doing another session where we will discuss about that all the product management. So we will touch base that how we can set up the product, and what are all the things that is basically involved when we add the price items and the line items, and how the price is calculated. So we will be covering that on the next another session for the sales app. Yeah, I think that's what for today. Keep stay on with us, and share our video with your friends, and all of our earlier session can be found on the YouTube. Share it with your friend and provide your feedback, and stay tuned with us. Thank you very much.